Today is Saturday, January 13th, 2018. Hello, and welcome to Weekly Astrology Notes for the week of January 14th through the 21st, 2018. Weekly Summary. Well, this week starts off big with Jupiter sextile Pluto on Monday, bringing the need for constructive reform into our lives. This aspect is the culmination of the grand confluence over the past 10 days. By this point, we all feel we've got some extra positive energy which we can use for the enrichment of ourselves and society. Now, this is just the first of 3 passes this year, and what's going to be one of the most important aspects of 2018. On a personal level, it's a wonderful aspect. It brings opportunity for financial success and a chance to heal old wounds and regenerate, and even brings psychic visions. And of course, we should not underestimate the destructive force of this aspect. It's necessary to sweep away the old. You know, powerful undercurrents of energy are sweeping us along in a positive way, transforming us like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon, which, it has to destroy in order to break free and move on to the next stage of growth. So a butterfly emerging from its cocoon, that's the theme for this week. And we got the new moon in Capricorn on Tuesday, so the start of the new moon cycle as well. And we're focused on what brings us personal happiness in life, things of lasting value, dependability and tradition for the next month. And then on Wednesday, a bit of a surprise. Mars quincunx Uranus brings volatile energy to the surface. Ambitious to the point of defiance, headstrong. Aspect gives you a sharp mind, able to probe deep on any matter, causes disruptions and disagreements. Reason why I'm really calling this one out is because the last pass of this aspect was in July 2016, where once again we had Mars in Scorpio and Uranus in Aries. And that aspect brought us 2 major false flag incidents. One of them was the Nice, France terrorist attack, and the other was the attempted coup in Turkey, which also was a false flag. So I'm giving everyone a heads up to watch out for this one. Could get really interesting. And since we are all waiting to hear about mass arrests, this could be a significant day in the takedown of the deep state. At the end, I have a special analysis of this aspect, including what happened last time and major concurrent transits. But overall, watch out for sudden aggressive behavior and big events on Wednesday. After all that high energy early in the week, we have an absolutely placid weekend ahead. Starting on Friday with Mercury sextile Neptune. It's going to be dreamy and poetic. And then Moon in Pisces throughout the weekend. Saturday is really mellow, and Sunday as well, with some Moon to Pluto and Scorpio aspects, making it a weekend to spend at home, recuperating your energy and revitalizing the home environment. So the coming weekend is kind of a mellow and relaxing weekend, and at the end of the video, talk more about Mars quincunx Uranus, concurrent transits for the EU, as well as transits for Robert Mueller and Recep Erdogan. Okay, so let's get started with Sunday the 14th. Moon is void of course this morning until the noon, so it's a slow Sunday morning, but the Sun square Uranus makes it much like yesterday, stimulating and forcing us to let go of old stagnant ways. So we'll start with the Moon entering Capricorn. We're more concerned with structure and preserving the important things in life for the next couple of days, especially now that we have 6 planets in Capricorn. So, a lot of duty and responsibility. And the Sun square Uranus, like I was saying, we're looking for a change of scenery. Even though it's a lot of this Capricorn energy, this square to Uranus kind of makes us want to break free of all that. So, the usual will not suffice, looking for something different to stimulate the mind, surprises in the air. Sometimes rather than having surprises come at you, it's best to make productive changes on your own. So, see this aspect as a crisis to express the unique side of yourself and do something a little bit different. Okay? And let your untamed wild side come out a little bit. And then we're going to be having Moon conjunct Saturn in the evening. So the Capricorn energy just doesn't let go. So Sunday late in the afternoon, things slow down. You turn inward, feeling a little bit inhibited, not as emotionally available as usual. Time for therapy. It happens every month. You know, when the Moon conjuncts your Saturn, time to restructure your emotions. You need a little bit of introspection and therapy. Also, it slows down the digestive process, so you want to eat a warm meal. It really helps with those Moon-Saturn aspects. Okay, moving along to Monday, the 15th. The big Jupiter sextile Pluto brings the need for constructive reform. Okay, this is the first pass. It's going to be at 19 degrees. Scorpio to Capricorn. The second pass is going to be on April 14th at 21 degrees. And the third pass, thanks to retrograde motion, will be at 18 degrees, and that'll be on September the 12th. So we're looking to make constructive changes. Jupiter-Pluto transits tend to bring out the ambitious nature in people. Jupiter wants growth and expansion, and Pluto has a lot of energy. You know, makes us feel like a god, but it also transforms like a caterpillar into a butterfly from one state of growth to the next. So these Jupiter-Pluto aspects make us feel like we're coming out of a cocoon, transforming into the butterfly and moving on to the next stage of growth. That's where all the ambition comes from. And sometimes we forget our limitations under these circumstances. And in this case, that might actually be a good thing, because let's face it, we all need to move beyond our current boundary and chart new territory. And the sextile kind of guarantees that whatever you destroy is probably going to be for the better in the long run anyway. So, ambition, but I think people should reach for it. Aspect is the culmination of this group of sextiles, bringing a large dose of transformation. So we should all be going through that kind of new and improved you self-improvement phase right now. By the time this aspect arrives, we should be feeling pretty good. It's very positive energy with this aspect. Jupiter brings that very positive outlook, very forgiving outlook, wanting to move on to something new. But there's always that destructive element to change, because we need to break out of that cocoon and destroy the old, make way for the new. And so it's like a little bit like a volcano. One thing I haven't mentioned much about this group of aspects, and in this one in particular, is the increased psychic energy. Now, I've mentioned the healing energy and, encouraging people to get into different healing modalities and so forth. And for sure, that too is very strong with this aspect. But I'm thinking now more about the psychic part of it. And that's because Jupiter's in its death cycle in Scorpio. It's looking for things that it missed. It's interested in esoteric knowledge and psychic phenomena, trying to glean some value in it. At the same time, Jupiter is also associated with cosmic forces. And, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which says, I perceive. So Jupiter sees. It has visions, like cosmic visions. So I'm thinking that this aspect might produce some prophetic, visionary, or psychic visions for people. It really could happen. And that's just on the personal level. On the geopolitical level, I anticipate big economic news associated with this aspect, because, after all, Pluto and Scorpio rule the banking industry, and we've got both of them involved here. So it's going to have to manifest in some way along those lines. But of course, this is just the first of 3 passes this year, so I'm not expecting complete resolution of anything. The issue just begins now. The bold vision begins to take shape. We're seeing massive amounts of wealth changing hands through the cryptocurrency, a term which really captures the strong Scorpio quality of the moment, considering crypto means hidden, and that's Scorpio. Just like currency is also a Scorpio, so it just seems very scorpionic. I suspect the rush into these currencies will be the most obvious characteristic of this aspect throughout its duration, for this whole year. But we're also seeing the fall of the U.S. petrodollar as the sole currency of international trade, as pretty much everyone is trading in other than the U.S. dollars nowadays. So this aspect coincides with the emergence of new forms of exchange. Those sextiles, they bring a lot of adaptation. So considering this aspect is part of the Pluto and Capricorn era, which is a long term that we're looking at here, the 2009 to 2023 block of time, we see authority taking on the dominating qualities of Pluto. Okay, authority tries to act in a very Pluto way, very controlling, dominating, which brings both destruction as well as reform to the government and its control over the banking industry. Okay, so in 2008, the banking industry fell apart and the government basically became the bank. Okay, so that's what I'm getting at here. This era of Pluto and Capricorn that started in 2009 seems to be an era when the government, it's just printing money, so basically the government becomes the bank. Pluto and Capricorn, the bank and authority, get merged. But that's putting the economy on a destructive death spiral. So it's like the authority figure has been trying to manifest all of this Pluto energy during this time, but by doing it in a selfish way, as they have done, they're also bringing on the destructive qualities of Pluto. So we've been living on borrowed time, waiting to see how the situation would change and if we'd get saved. Now comes this aspect. And we see that Jupiter is bringing opportunity to this chaotic, destructive mess. It's been going on ever since 2009. It's driving people into cryptocurrencies. Suddenly they think, oh gosh, I got a way out. And, there's new forms of exchange. People are abandoning the dollar. And it's all happening right around this grand confluence of aspects. So it's driving the whole monetary system towards more destruction because it's just more and more Pluto and Scorpio energy. So that's what we're seeing here, is the destruction of the monetary system, the overuse of control energy by authority. And all I can say for that is that we're not selfish. If we're truly motivated by what is good for everyone concerned, we can make some very constructive reform to the system at this time. With all of this as regard to banking now. Now, other manifestations of this aspect could be even more intriguing, and that's the release of esoteric knowledge and unacknowledged ancient history, like this written in library going online. But so much more is due to come out. Evidence of extraterrestrial visitors to Earth is already being tried out on the public to see our reaction. No one seems to be caring very much. Of course, many of us in the alternative news are well aware that the powers that should not be are keeping lots of information from us. Just consider the evidence of the ancient settlements in the Grand Canyon that's been kept hidden. So many people know about that, but it's starting to come out now. And we're going to see this year, Jupiter is going to be broadcasting this esoteric information. It's going to become conventional wisdom and thus widely accepted. So that's kind of something very positive to look forward to in the long term with regards to this aspect. So as I'm seeing it, Monday is a very positive day, bringing lots of hope for a better future, starting us off on a bold vision for the coming year, like a butterfly emerging from the cocoon. All things considered, we should see a lot of positive changes in people happening this week. Moving along to Tuesday, January 16th. Moon in Capricorn has us attending to duty and responsibility today. But of course, Capricorn loves to party as well. And this evening brings the new moon in Capricorn. Also a good time for social gatherings. So we've got the moon conjunct Pluto happening in the middle of the night. And each month, this aspect gives us an opportunity to develop a new base emotional state. Not entirely, just a little bit at a time. Strong emotions come to the surface, like jealousy, to test a resolve. But if you hold your ground and don't give in, you find that you got more ground to stand on later on. It's kind of nice that way. And we've also got the moon sextile Jupiter, brings an optimistic attitude, kind of like I feel right now. And around noon on Tuesday, the moon sextile Mars, so lots of energy Tuesday around noon, looking for opportunities for advancement, financial and professional. And then in the early afternoon on Tuesday, we're able to break free from tradition and chart our own course with moon square Uranus. And then in the early evening on Tuesday, we've got the new moon at 26 degrees 54 minutes of Capricorn. Always check to see where the new moon is occurring in your chart. Okay, it's always a positive time. It's the most powerful and creative aspect in all of astrology, the moon conjunct sun is. So it's a good instincts when we need, which we need for starting the next moon cycle. This month, Capricorn seems to dominate everything. So we are more focused on what brings us personal happiness in life. Things of lasting value, dependability, and tradition are more important. It's an austere time when we don't feel as available for others as usual because we are attending to important matters. We're pulling back. We've got lots of important work to do on our own. We need to stay focused and maintain our integrity, attend to duty and responsibility. So check your chart to see where this is occurring, which house. So that's where you need to focus the energy of the new moon each month. The Jupiter sextile Pluto aspect plays into this moon cycle as well. Aspect gives us the energy and stamina to accomplish whatever we set out to do this month. And we have a nice, pleasant evening on Tuesday or late evening, I should say, with the moon conjunct Venus. And moving along to Wednesday, the 17th, Mars quincunx Uranus brings volatile energy to the surface, very ambitious. You're going to have a sharp mind, able to dig deep on any issue. Watch out for sudden aggressive behavior and false flag attacks, which is what happened the last time in July of 2016. So we start with the moon entering Aquarius just after midnight. After Capricorn, the moon looks for freedom and independence in Aquarius. Folks are more friendly, more group-oriented, socially conscious, more interested in intellectual pursuits over the next couple of days. And then at approximately 2 in the afternoon, we got the Mars quincunx Uranus. 24 degrees of Scorpio, 24 degrees of Aries. It last occurred July 15th, 2016. And get this, almost the exact same location. The last pass was at 24 degrees, 25 minutes. And this pass is at 24 degrees, 41 minutes. Wow, the same degree and only 16 minutes apart. Mars has made one complete cycle, and Uranus is sitting in the exact same spot. It's like deja vu all over again. We're looking to make a precise adjustment or carry out a very specific task to achieve success. Consequently, folks are very opportunistic, looking to get ahead. You really want to achieve here. At the same time, it's really easy to get swept up in someone else's karma because it's a quincunx. It's important to avoid anyone that could steer you the wrong way. We sense a crisis to prove that we have the power to achieve independence. So sometimes we attach on to someone who has that same quality we think. A desire to prove our worth, feeling restless, compulsive, accident prone as well. So be careful when working with machinery. Deep psychological and pathological behaviors emerge. Headstrong and ambitious, like many Mars-Uranus aspects, strong need to show the world that you have these Uranian qualities, like an intelligence and so forth. Gives you a very sharp, probing mind and a stinging intellect, able to dig deep through the surface layers and find the inner meaning of things. That's why it causes disruptions and arguments, even fights. Powerful psychic energies emerge, meant to bring destruction and transformation within you and in society. You may feel a sudden impulse that comes from a powerful psychic awakening. Most folks are not aware enough to know what's really motivating them in these cases, because the quincunx is a very subtle energy. It needs to be handled carefully. You may become suddenly more aware of the control games being played on you. You may see the deeper psychic meaning in it. Get paranoid and lash out against restrictions. It brings this strong desire for independence, but like I was saying, you may sacrifice your independence to someone or some group effort designed to bring about better circumstances. The danger with this aspect is we're susceptible to getting caught up by someone who looks like they're coming from an enlightened perspective, but really they're not. Really they're coming from a very selfish perspective. So, in general, beware of making sudden changes in your life or causing disruptions in your life right now, or at least get a second opinion. Beware of change for the sake of change. Now, I realize that we're going through all this transformation with the Jupiter sextile Pluto and all this, but then this comes along, and this very impulsive energy brings up sometimes the worst quality in Uranus, which is change for the sake of change. So I wanted to give folks a heads up about that, to kind of be aware of this very impulsive energy that's coming at us early in the week. This aspect reminds us that we need to change on the inside first. On a macro level, this aspect brings aggressive and revolutionary forces to the surface. Like I said, it could be another false flag attack. I'll talk about that, more details at the end of the video. But for now, let's continue with the weekly report. Venus enters Aquarius in the evening on Wednesday. Be there until February the 10th, so that's a little over 3 weeks. The key word for Venus in Aquarius is detached, because the impersonal quality of Aquarius gives the desire to love everyone, not just one person. They're not possessive. You don't like to be possessed very much. Egalitarian. It's a good placement for teachers. Enables one to see the intrinsic value of helping others and enlightening others. Very good for group activities, time with friends. Venus is our receptive side, so during this time we're more open to the unusual, people with different forms of expression, scientists and innovative people, more concerned with equality under the law, and want to be sure that everyone is treated fairly. I would say this is a good time to take a class. Find a teacher who can enlighten you, learn something new to expand your social sphere. Venus is not busy while it's in Aquarius. It's going to have just one aspect, and that'll be Venus squared Jupiter on February the 3rd. Okay, moving along to Thursday, the 18th. Strong energy from the quincunx yesterday carries forward into the morning, and Moon at Aquarius has us looking to break free from restrictions on Thursday. We've just got one aspect, and that's in the afternoon. Moon squared Jupiter. Tendency for extravagance brings on poor judgment. Be careful. You might accidentally reveal too much. Scorpio to Aquarius square. It's all about privileged information. What should be kept secret so the individual can function in a group setting, or what should be revealed in order to preserve the integrity of the group. So that's just a little astrology lesson there about that Scorpio to Aquarius square, because we just got the one aspect there. So let's move along to Friday the 19th. The energy starts to change quite a bit as we move into Friday. Instead of the intense energy of early in the week, we've got a dreamy and idealistic day with Mercury sextile Neptune. Time to let your imagination run free. A day for poetry and music. Not interested in mundane affairs. So, see, we've got the moon sextile Uranus in the middle of the night, looking for independence, opportunity to move into better circumstances, and then the moon square Mars. People are emotionally demanding. And then we've got a long void, I shouldn't say a long one, but all of Friday morning is a void, of course, from very early in the morning until early in the afternoon. So Friday morning is not a time to start new projects. And then just afternoon, on Friday, the moon enters Pisces. So we're more open to subtle vibrations around us for the next couple of days. We're more sensitive and empathic, interested in the intangible things in life, like watching a beautiful sunset or listening to music. The ego dissolves, the desire to escape into fantasy. Easy to delude yourselves, though. The effect is much stronger today with the accompanying Mercury sextile Neptune. So it'll be a dramatic shift in the energy on Friday. Much calmer. And the aspect, Mercury sextile Neptune, happening in the afternoon. It's a wonderful aspect that opens us up to the subtle vibrations around us. The conscious mind feels the need to focus on intangible things, not interested in mundane affairs. Despite being in Capricorn, the transcendental quality, also because it's a fourth quadrant sextile, means we are interested in the non-material world. Capricorn slows down the mind, brings the need for therapy, while Neptune creates a pool of water to give us a window into the spirit world. So it's a very reflective day, a good day for writing poetry and music. Let your words slide if you can, and allow your imagination to run free. Be open to intuitive guidance. Nonetheless, thinking is clouded, not interested in details. Not a day to make important decisions or come to any final conclusions about matter. More time to let things be. Ego denial, not really sure of your opinions and not really interested in defending them anyway. In this case, with the fourth quadrant, surrendering our thought processes helps you overcome your limitations and pessimistic thinking. It lets them dissolve. Brings out a desire to help others as well. And then on Friday, happy birthday to the Aquarians. Sun enters Aquarius. Time to develop the unique and interesting side of yourself. Aquarius is unconventional, likes to do things their own way, open-minded and very smart, able to converse on a wide variety of topics. So, add this to the list of many different influences affecting us this month. I mean, we've got the new moon in Capricorn, and then right after that, the sun enters Aquarius. So we're more interested in information that'll enable us to move on to better circumstances, evolve. That includes studying things like astrology, science, and new technology. They're all Aquarius things. And then on Saturday evening, the moon sextile Saturn, the calm aspect. This is one of tend to responsibility. And moon in Pisces, really we want to relax on Saturday evening. We seek isolation to help us recollect ourselves. On Friday evening, to help us recollect ourselves. And then moving into Saturday, January the 20th, moon in Pisces makes it an imaginative, impressionable day, feeling sentimental and more vulnerable. We seek calm surroundings, like the home, more open to psychic impressions. Start of a placid weekend. Moon conjunct Neptune happening just after noon, so that brings even more Pisces energy. The monthly cosmic poke on your belly button. Increased sensitivity to everything around you, able to pick up subtle vibrations, compassionate and understanding. We want to delve into fantasy, desire to escape, and be in a safe space. And then in the afternoon on Saturday, the moon sextile Mercury. Good time for writing. Words reflect the soul. Just like yesterday's Mercury sextile Neptune. Able to sincerely communicate important matters. It's also good for business. And moving into Sunday, the 21st. More of Moon in Pisces makes it a good day to stay in, regenerate, and repair in the home. And that's because all of the aspects involve either Pluto or Scorpio. And that's where we get that regeneration and repair in the home environment for Sunday, the 21st. We start early in the morning with the Moon sextile Pluto, gives us a burst of energy. And then also the Moon trine Jupiter as well, very early in the morning. Emotions expand, positive attitude. And then in the afternoon, the Moon trine Mars, a bit more physical energy, a good time. Again, it's just more time to spend at home. So Sunday, late afternoon and evening, it's time to relax with a void of course. And then late in the evening on Sunday, the Moon enters Aries. Well, that's perfect, as the Moon in Aries brings an enthusiastic tone to start the following week. You have more energy and ambition to start new projects the next week. All right, well, that's it for this week's aspects. Okay, moving along, I want to talk more about this Mars quincunx Uranus. As I mentioned, it last occurred July 15, 2016, at almost the exact same degree, only 16 minutes apart. So that's pretty amazing. The last occurrence of this aspect brought us two major false flag events. We had the terrorist attack in Nice, France, and if you take a look at the chart of the EU, you'll see this Uranus quincunx Mars was right on top of their natal Mars and Pluto, as well as opposing their natal Moon. So that was the coincidence that tied us into that. In fact, the attacker even had this aspect right on top of his natal Saturn at 24 degrees of Scorpio. And in Turkey, we saw a similar thing where this Mars quincunx Uranus was right on top of their natal Jupiter, right at the time of this attempted coup, which was, again, another false flag event. So this Mars quincunx Uranus was the culprit, I think. It seemed to be the common denominator in both of these events. So a quincunx is an aspect where you can get caught up in a collective movement, a collective event like this. And collective karma either gets resolved or created. You just get swept up. The restless ambition of this aspect, coupled with the power of Scorpio, makes it for very aggressive behavior, like these warlike actions, these false flags. Not only is there potential for another false flag, but we've also been hearing stories in the alternative media about impending mass arrests, Gitmo getting special guard units for political prisoners, etc. You know, this could be a significant day in the takedown of the deep state. It may go the other way. Instead of a false flag by the deep state, maybe it's a takedown of the deep state. So the fact that this aspect is occurring at the same degree as the last occurrence gives the feeling like we need to do something all over again and get it right this time. Maybe this time the good guys score a victory. So let's see how it plays out this week. Looking at a potential location for a big event, once again, I'm drawn to the chart of the EU because, you know, it's in the same place as it was before. So it's very close to their natal Pluto, and they'll be getting, you know, the group of aspects, Mars conjunct Mars, Mars opposition Moon, Mars conjunct Pluto, and Uranus quincunx Pluto. But unlike the last occurrence, this pass also shows the concurrent transits of Jupiter conjunct Mercury. You'll see here at 19 degrees of Scorpio. That could amplify their voice, could produce crowd events, loud voices, lots of political activity, lots of people expressing their perspective. And Pluto, square Venus, that's another one. You'll see this here, Pluto, 1919 of Capricorn, squaring Venus at 1915 Libra. So that transit is going to be occurring exactly just 3 days on the 14th. So it means they're dealing with relationship problems these days, likely concerning money, because, you know, it's a nation, not a person. So we have to look at it more like money and lack of personal resources, because Venus rules Taurus, as personal resources. So they're facing some problems right now with regards to that one as well. Lots of subconscious impulses come to the surface. And the Libra to Capricorn square, secrets are revealed. And it's just more destructive Pluto energy. So it looks like the EU is ripe for another big event. Destructive forces unleashed by this aspect. Maybe another false flag, or maybe mass arrests take place in the EU as well as the USA. That would be really great, wouldn't it? Either way, they are the ones to watch again this week to see the destructive power of this aspect. Okay, just to mention the USA, because I'm sure everyone's curious, because, you know, USA's got Mercury at 24 degrees of Cancer. We're not going to get the Uranus square, though, because Uranus went direct before it made another square to the Mercury of USA. So I don't think it's going to affect us too much. And again, with Turkey, we see that, you know, their Jupiter's at 2417. So Uranus went direct after the quincunx. So it doesn't look like Turkey may be involved this time as it was last time. So it's kind of a similar situation to the USA. But with regards to Turkey, moving on to this guy Recep Erdogan, the leader, he's getting some intense transits this week to coincide with this Mars quincunx Uranus. He's getting Pluto opposition his natal Uranus. Okay? This could bring a big surprise for him. A man in his position getting a transit like this, he attempts to embody and manifest the subconscious urges of a generation. I mean, he tries to play God. It's a very revolutionary transit. Desire to make sweeping changes in society, and it's very aggressive. It's interesting to note is that at the last pass of this back in July 2016, when we had Mars quincunx Uranus, he was getting Jupiter sextile Uranus. Jupiter was at 19 degrees of Virgo, making a sextile to his Uranus. And now, at the next occurrence of Mars sextile quincunx Uranus, he's getting another aspect to that natal Uranus. Very interesting coincidence and synchronicity. But this time it's going to be a little different. Notice Neptune is about to make the last pass on the conjunction to his natal Mercury and Venus. And that'll be next month, in February. He's going to get the very last pass of Neptune conjunct Mercury and Venus. So these aspects are ripe for resolution. Any time between the last direct motion and the last pass, the transit is ready for being resolved. So these transits could really take the wind out of his sails, because, you know, Neptune is rather debilitating. It takes a lot of your energy away. It takes away your ego drive. So he's also rather delusional right now, far more so than his usual self, I would say. I mean, consider what he's going through, this Pluto opposition Uranus. He thinks he's God, and then these Neptune transits. He's really thinking he's something special about now. And he's liable to do something rather daring, but instead he suffers a terrible setback this time. Unlike the last pass of Mars quincunx Uranus, when he pulled off a false flag attempted coup at that Jupiter sextile Uranus, it's not going to be so easy this time with Pluto opposition Uranus and Neptune conjuncting Mercury and Venus. Very interesting. Really curious to see how this plays out for the same players last time around, you know, same degrees. Okay, just finishing up with Robert Mueller, okay? Because he's got some interesting transits coming up this week. His natal Mercury square Uranus is being tested. His rebellious know-it-all attitude is coming back to haunt him. And here's why. You see, Neptune at 12 degrees of Pisces is now opposing his Mercury and squaring his Uranus. So, to say this transit clouds his judgment, and I'm talking about the Neptune opposition Mercury. It's the last pass. It's not his exact birth time, by the way, but we couldn't be off by much. Anyway, he's getting it right around this time, this week, I would say. To say that this transit clouds one's judgment is an understatement. He has had very clouded judgment this past year during the course of this transit. He's been pursuing the Russia scandal, and now it seems now that the tables have turned, and his investigation is going in the opposite direction, towards the DNC, Hillary, and the Clinton Foundation. I feel that's very appropriate, as the symbol for Pisces is two fish swimming in opposite directions, meaning to get where you're going, you go in the opposite direction. So basically, the path that he's been going on for this last year has been the exact opposite way that he's getting. You know, it's just exactly like Pisces. And then on the 20th, the last pass of Neptune square Uranus. Now, according to Planets in Transit by Robert Hand, he says about this, quote, "Something you have been trying to keep secret from others will be revealed suddenly, or a secret that someone else has kept from you may be revealed." Wow, how appropriate. I think the purpose of his entire investigation has been a big secret. You know, not just a secret from the DNC, who thought that they were going to go after Trump. Instead, they're going after him, but possibly it's been a secret from Mueller himself. I don't think this guy really knows what's going on. Considering these Neptune transits, it makes sense. At this point, he's painting himself into a corner, and he's facing a serious time of testing as he comes to grips with many things he did not see in the past. And that's all Neptune doing a number on that Uranus, natal Uranus square Mercury, which, you know, tries to ignore established facts, impatient with others, and now it's kind of, I think, coming back to haunt him because he doesn't see what's going on right in front of him. And lastly, next month in February 13th, he's going to get Saturn opposition Saturn. It's going to be a challenging time as well. Will be all the more so for him with his other transits. It's a time of testing to see if you're on the right path in life. Authority figures come to oppose you. You just get a lot of limitation in life. You may discover, as many people do with this transit, you know, he should have gotten out long ago, possibly at the Saturn square 7 years ago. But in any regard, I hope this potential bad news regarding Mars quincunx Uranus does not distract us from the positive energy coming forth with the Jupiter sextile Pluto and the new moon in Capricorn. Okay, so now gladly accepting donations. I was thinking maybe $1 a month wouldn't be too much to ask, folks. You'll find donation buttons for Patreon and PayPal in the lower right-hand corner of the flower image on my channel homepage. And if you're looking for an astrologer for readings or monthly consultations, lots of ways to contact me. mobilestar7@yahoo.com is the best, or my weblog, tomsocalm.com, which is where I post the transcript of these weekly videos. Well, that's all this week for Weekly Astrology Notes. Thanks for viewing, sharing, and for liking my video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and please consider donating to this effort. Many blessings, and have a great day.